Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ghostmet Gaming with me, Christopher, and this is Lucifer Within Us, a game about a murder mystery, or possibly several murder mysteries. And it's basically set in a alternate reality, where with a lot of religious undertones, let's just say, and perhaps a bit of magic, I think. I say I think because I have seen a video of this being played, so I actually know a little bit about what's going on. It's been sufficiently long enough ago so that I actually don't remember that much, which is good, because again, it's a murder mystery, so it would be a little bit boring going into it and knowing exactly what's going on. So I don't actually remember exactly what the solution is, or maybe not even close. I mean, this is not a new game in that regard, so it has been, I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a while. So I'm basically just gonna start up the game. We're gonna start a new game. I actually only really started up the game so to check that everything was working, and then I quit immediately. So we are gonna start a new game, and we are gonna see what this game is about. 100 years without murder, 100 years without demonic possession, then this. I am Sister Ada, exorcist and investigator. This is my testament to the massacre at St. Walpurgis Abbey. It is truth. Do not believe the lies of my accusers. And there we go, a little bit of sort of very, very fast background here as to what is going on. So yeah, exorcism, demonic possession, ooh, very, very interesting indeed. St. Walpurgis Abbey, the Cybernetics Workshop. This is Virgil, and this is me, Ada. Right.
I am Virgil, Chief Inquisitor at St. Walpurgis Abbey. We may be in need of your talents as an exorcist.
Be glad to help.
You can survey the evidence yourself, but I think you will agree.
Agree to what?
Has there truly been a murder?
It seems so. A respected priestess, Mother Miriam, passed this morning under suspicious circumstances.
I mean, I do see the blood over here, so suspicious indeed.
A demon may be present. Here, even now, possessing someone.
Ooh.
What happened exactly?
Mother Miriam was only recently appointed as successor to Abbot Gregory. This morning, she came to the workshop to receive her coronet of office.
Something went wrong with the installation.
Yes, to put it mildly, the coronet oversurged, killing Mother Miriam. Brace yourself for the sight.
So I guess that this is the coronet then.
Then the workshop operators, Gideon and Reuben, are the prime suspects. They are brothers, right?
Yes, but it's highly out of character for Gideon or Reuben to kill someone. Even so, they were the only ones present when Mother Miriam died.
I mean, if we're talking about a demonic possession, then yes, it could be uncharacteristic of them, but, you know, possessed by a demon, then that basically flies out of the window, doesn't it?
Demons nurture our sinful desires into unthinkable actions, Virgil.
Exactly. Eloquently put. I mean, unlike what I just said.
One of the brothers has surely been seduced by a daemon.
Now we're jumping to conclusions, but sure.
Whichever it is, I will unmask his lies and cast out the daemon within him.
May Ein Soph's will be done. Amen.
Ein Soph. Would that be the deity then?
Cover 4 things.
Okay, 4 things.
First, the suspect. We must identify which sinner is possessed by a daemon.
And yes, I do believe that this little murder mystery is sort of the tutorial here as well. So, we need a suspect.
Second, the opportunity. When exactly was the murder committed?
Sure.
We can pinpoint the opportunity by analyzing each suspect's testimonies. Third, the means by which the murder has been committed. The means can be found among the physical evidence at the scene of the incident. Fourth, the motive of the murderer, which can be found in their inner world, their sanctum.
So we might be doing a little bit of mind reading, I guess, sort of. But yeah, all of this seems really not so much about demonic possession, but more like a regular murder homicide case, but whatever.
The motive will tell us which daemon possesses the sinner.
Now that is good information. I agree.
Very well. Let us begin our holy work.
Let us. And we get into this sort of 3D view. And now it actually looks a bit like Cyberpunk 2077 and a braindance minigame. We have different tracks here in where we will uncover things. So Miriam, that is the victim, newly appointed voice of Ain Saf, who was scheduled to receive an Aether Cornet implant at the workshop. So now we can start moving about. We can check out, yeah, this is very, very gruesome. Very gruesome indeed. Mother Miriam's body, we can examine it. Okay, evidence found. Mother Miriam's body and cornet remains. So, Mother Miriam's body, a valuable piece of physical evidence. A new entry is now added to your evidence panel, which can be found on the lower left of your display. There you can access detailed information about Mother Miriam's body. You must present them to the suspects in order to discover any contradictions. So that is what we're going to be doing. So the body is completely unharmed, but her head has exploded into a mess of blood and bone fragments. Ooh, nice. Okay, and the cornet, obviously she had that around her head, found near Mother Miriam's body. Parts of the amplifier components and bits of the casing have survived the explosion. So that's basically what we can tell about this here thing. If we go out, we also have, what is this, the door button. Door controls, a new piece of evidence. Let's examine it now. Okay. Door controls, obviously, used to open and close the consecration chamber, only operable from outside the chamber. Usage records show that it was opened twice this morning. Good to know. So we can just click this and always learn what we can. Then we have the controls. Check that out. The control panel, used to activate and control the consecration chamber. Usage records show that the ether output during the ceremony was well beyond safe ranges. So, someone apparently tampered a bit with this when she was in here and sort of overloaded it. And now it's a bit of a point-and-click game. We're going to talk to people. But we're going to gather some evidence first, some physical evidence. So, cornet limiter. Found in Gideon's workspace in pristine condition. Component is required to safely install the cornet without using an ether oversearch. So Gideon, why did you have the cornet limiter that presumably would have sort of stopped this from actually happening? That is interesting. Gideon's workstation, the ceremony, says that 1. Place the cornet and the recipient in the chamber. The performer and the recipient pray in silence. Begin the song to start modulating the ether. Lastly, intensify the ether output by bringing the performance to a crescendo. So a bit of a, yeah, I do see the sort of organ pipes over here. So a bit of a musical theme then. So I guess that this is likely important. So place cornet and recipient in chamber. That would be Mother Miriam over here. The performer and the recipient. So who's the performer? Begin the song, etc., etc. But okay, so the performer and the recipient. Okay, I don't exactly gather who's who here. Let's see if we can find any. Yeah, here we go. We have more stuff over here. Like Ruben's workstation. Okay, so Gideon over here, Ruben over here. You have a lot of papers strewn about, Ruben. What's up with that? Cornet blueprints. Plans for constructing the ether cornet. The purpose of the device seems to be to amplify the user's ether output. The components are amplifier, casing, and a limiter. We do have the limiter over here. Do we have a casing and an amplifier, perhaps? We also had spear blueprints. Found on Ruben's workstation. Plans for restoring a relic that was recently brought to St. Walpurgis by Father Augustine. Okay. Don't exactly see the correlation here. What is this? Question marks. Ooh. The devil's herb? I knew something nefarious is afoot. The abbey must be purified of its scent. I should dispose of any that I find. Okay, so devil's herb. Well, isn't that just a metaphor for like marijuana or something? Did we find anything else? Not at this point. So, that means that we now need to start talking to people. Because I don't think that... no, I don't think that I don't know if there's like a highlight or something. Not that I know of. But let's start talking to people. So, over here we have Gideon, the younger brother. You have a very whiny voice, don't you?
I am Gideon the Grand, the greatest cybernetician of our generation. I am blessed. I don't know what went wrong this morning. My hands are guided by the divine.
Well, you left out the limiter over there.
There are only gaudy trinkets here.
Aw.
Mother Miriam died by your hands. Is that not so?
No, why would I want to harm her? Mother Miriam was my patron. She loved me like a son. I did nothing wrong. The consecration chamber must have been compromised. And Sister Ada is here to seek the truth, Gideon. You have nothing to fear if you are innocent. Please hear Gideon's testimony, Sister Ada, and judge for yourself if he speaks true. Testimony of a suspect is divided into events. You can access detailed descriptions of events by hovering over them. You can manipulate the timeline marker to navigate to any moment in the testimony. Right, okay. So, let's listen to what Gideon has to say.
Mother Miriam came to me for her consecration ceremony. I've performed this many times before, so I was confident.
So now we actually get to see what happened according to Gideon, by the way. Very important, according to Gideon. So they're talking a bit about stuff, I guess. And this is his cone of vision. And there's Reuben.
To prepare for the ceremony, I ordered Reuben to take Mother Miriam to the consecration chamber.
So he would be the performer then, I guess. And Reuben is just a guy. Okay. Ooh, I'm apparently stopping him here. Meanwhile, I adjusted the corner's application at my work table and placed it upon Mother Miriam's head. What am I objecting to now? Let's re-examine what he said about Miriam's arrival. Okay.
To prepare for the ceremony, I ordered Reuben to take Mother Miriam came to me
Okay.
for
Do I go all the way back? Interesting. Gideon does not mention Reuben being present while meeting Mother Miriam. Did he have to do that? Okay, let's select Miriam's arrival and ask Gideon about it.
Mother Miriam came to me for her consecration.
Let's ask. Good, I should remember that I can ask a suspect about any statement in testimony. Good. And were you alone greeting Mother Miriam? Yes, I'm certain I was alone then. Which is weird, because Reuben was there. Okay. That is indeed a strange piece of evidence. For now, let's finish hearing the rest of his testimony. So, yeah, that does seem strange that he would say that he's alone, because obviously Reuben is right there. Okay. Let's check a bit here. Don't know if I need... Okay, so that was the coronet that he presumably used then. Sure. So he's tampering a little bit with it over here. I guess we can fast forward a little bit. Yeah, so the piece that we found is not there now. So he moves over here. He goes in. He places it on her head. He leaves. Closes the door. Right. Then what?
We began by closing our eyes and praying together to Ein Sof.
Nothing here.
I thought I heard the chamber open, but didn't think much of it.
What did he just say? I thought I heard the chamber open, but didn't think much of it. So he's closing his eyes. Yeah, we can see it opening. Right, okay. So according to him, that could not have been him, because he was sitting or kneeling down, praying.
Then I activated the consecration chamber and began the ceremony itself. The aether output was within safe ranges.
Sure. So now you're starting the performance here. The very ominous organ music. There's Reuben. Coming from sort of this point, and there we go. And pop. Okay, let's leave you for now then. Okay, we can leave this testimony. Sure. So that's you. Let's talk to Reuben, the elder brother.
Exorcist? Surely there are no demons here, though. This was an accident, wasn't it? If Gideon is possessed, that would mean he did it on purpose. Horrible.
Gideon, apparently. Okay, not Gideon. Gideon.
You must be the elder brother.
Yes.
So your name
my
is Reuben.
Garamond. I am responsible for the engineering and design of our implants.
How did Mother Miriam die, exactly?
It was a completely preventable accident. Mother Miriam died because Gideon deliberately flouted the ceremonial guidelines for his own glory. Gideon may be my flesh and blood, but he must take responsibility for his negligence.
Okay, so let's pick up his testimony here. And keep in mind that Reuben's testimony may differ greatly from Gideon's version of events. If an event corroborated by another suspect's testimony, it would be marked as verified. So right now we have unverified, 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 so all of this is unverified at this point. Sure. So let's listen to what Reuben has to say about this. Now, do we... Right, because it's Reuben, I mean, obviously. Yeah, sure.
Mother Miriam came to us to receive a consecration ceremony.
And he's actually standing here.
She wanted something extravagant.
Okay.
Gideon suggested setting the coronet to have maximum ether output. I warned him that doing so is highly dangerous.
So this is obviously contradicting what we have here. So why does this say verified?
Gideon convinced her to move forward with the ceremony anyway, since he was going to handle everything. I went back to my tasks.
Okay, so at this point he's basically just... this test part is rather long and repetitive. Let's move ahead. Sure. So he's just chilling out here. Okay.
When Gideon activated the consecration chamber, I immediately felt something was wrong. I begged Gideon to stop, but he didn't listen.
And Miriam dies. Okay. So apparently we're not supposed to talk to him anymore right now. Now that we heard the testimony from each suspect, let's think carefully. There's only one truth to the chain of events of this morning, and I doubt that either brother has told it to us. So he was relying on Ainsof's greater gift to us, our minds. Oh, this is gonna go bad. There are three ways we should consider what we've discovered. First way is deduction. Since there can be only one truth, if two things don't align, one or both of them are false. If Gideon and Reuben do not agree on something, someone is lying. Or, if what they say do not match the evidence I find, then they must be lying. Second is induction. I should base my theory based on what I discover. If my theory does not align with any of the testimonies or evidence that I find, then I should discard it. If two theories are both possible, then I should prefer the one that has more information that supports it. That said, induction alone is usually not enough. Finally, abduction. Ooh, we're gonna steal babies. I must hypothesize what could have happened, filling gaps in information with my imagination. But that seemed not that good. This is the fastest and the most powerful way of thinking, but also the most fraught. Sure, I should engage in each of these three ways in order to uncover the truth. And I'm basically left to my own devices. So, what can I do here? Can I... So what do I do now? Okay, so this is unverified. Specificity. I don't know exactly what that means. Now the question is, you say that why is this said as verified? So what if I talk to you now? Can I do that? So hey, now that we've got an important piece of evidence, let's ask the suspect about it. Let's select any evidence and ask him about it. Okay. Apparently we want to ask him about this. The bus is completely unharmed, but her head is exploded into a mess of blood. Yeah, sure, we can ask about that. Good. I should remember that I can ask the suspect about any evidence that I find. And if it was never supposed to happen, Mother Miriam, I'm so sorry. I can easily confirm that her death was painless. Okay. But that didn't really do much. What I would like to ask you, were you alone? I'm certain. Can't I say something about that? Because, you know, according to Reuben, he was right there. Or does that mean that I need to talk to Reuben? Let's see this, because I want to know if... What do you say about that? Because over here... They didn't heed your warning. Gideon believes his so-called genius makes him impervious to danger, or the man might fail, but not Gideon the Grand. As Mother Miriam, she only has ears for Gideon. Today was no different. So I can apparently not contradict here at all. That is interesting. So, for example, we can ask about this. Curious, Rubens claims he went back to his workstation. Why? What does Gideon say? Let's switch to his testimony, so we can just... Oh, we can just switch between them, that's good. Gideon claims that Reuben opened the door to the Consecration Chamber. Let's go back to Reuben. Okay, yes.
Gideon convinced her to move forward with the ceremony anyway. Since he was going to handle everything, I went back to my tasks.
So now we can... This we can apparently contradict. I don't know if did I do anything specific here? Because I'm going for the return. I don't know exactly what the game is, or rather how this is working. But apparently, we can contradict on this. Lies unmasked. Ooh. Okay. How? I'm a bit wondering why it took that up, because I was just looking at this. Never mind. So, Reuben Garamond, you did not return to your workstation after the discussion. How? What? No, right, because he said that he led Mother Miriam over to the chamber. Gideon ordered you to open the consecration chamber for Mother Miriam. Order me? Is that what he told you? Despite his illusions, Gideon is certainly not my master. I did open the chamber, it's true. I apologize for the omission. It's a regular part of my routine that I slipped my mind earlier, so now we got a bit more here. Reuben has amended his testimony. Let's examine opening chamber. Good. The statement from Reuben's testimony is now verified for 2 reasons. 1. Corroboration. Gideon's testimony confirms that Reuben opened the door for Mother Miriam. And 2. Specificity. It has a short time frame and describes a clearer set of events. Okay, so that's basically just it. Shorter period of time means that it's more specific. Sure. I can assume that any verified statement like this is true. What's more, the contradiction weakened the suspect's resolve. His eye of providence glows, which allows me to enter his sanctum, the digital representation of his mind. Let's use his third eye to enter his sanctum and see what truly motivates this suspect. Let's do it. Okay, so what do we unlock here? We unlock sort of like this is the first ring. He's a believer. Okay. We only cracked the outer layer of his sanctum this time. Still, let's examine the psychological evidence that we found. Okay. We have that as well. Interesting. This information will help me discern which statements to trust. Let's quickly examine each statement in his testimony again. Okay. Some of the statements are now supported by the suspect's psychology. Believer, believer, believer. Do we need to... Okay. Click here. Next time is find correlations between the suspect's behavior and existing demons. Let's open demonology. Ooh. Lucifer the Proud, Prince of Demons, and eternal adversary of Aesop, manifesting the ambitious and strong-willed, promising their heart desire and exchange for their soul. Then we have Beelzebub, simple-minded demon that debilitates the host, turning him into feral beasts. The host is compelled to consume stranger and filthier things until nothing remains of their humanity. So none of these are currently interesting, because this is really not what we have seen. Then we have Sathanas the Vengeful, a furious demon that stokes the simmering rage within the host, preys upon the fervent and the righteous, goading them to take matters into their own hands. Very, very reasonable. Because if it is Reuben, then yes, first of all, vengeful. He apparently doesn't really like his brother all that much. I mean, he said that even though Gideon was of his blood, he would still have to sort of pay for what he did. So, yeah, okay. So Satanas currently is reasonable here. Now we have Loten the Envious, playful but deceitful demon who slowly drives the host mad with whispers of their own inadequacy. The host blames others for their ill fortune until the apparent injustice drives them to take what is rightfully theirs. Could be. Again, blames others for their fortune, which is sort of what he did. So actually, Loten also reasonable. And then we're back at Lucifer. Okay, so it's either if it's Reuben now, which is what we're looking at, it's either Satanas or Loten the Envious. I mean, okay, so Loten the Envious. Now that actually painted a brighter picture for him at least, because he has actually been envious of his brother. If the suspect is possessed, there should be a psychological evidence that has a clear correlation with a demon. To obtain further psychological evidence, I must find more contradictions and present them to the suspect. Now that I have heard the testimony and gathered evidence, I can accuse the suspect. Okay, do we just do that? Okay, to accuse the suspect, I must establish the opportunity means a motive of the crime. I can raise many times as I wish, but there is only one true answer for each section. Let's try to establish opportunity. And let's present a section of the suspect testimony. So obviously, it would be during either the work, because he was doing adjustments over here. So I would assume that this would be the case. Good. If it's a valid answer, the suspect will be forced to admit that they could have committed the murder at that time. Otherwise, the suspect will give a counter-argument as to why that is impossible. If I was in the chamber then, Gideon and Mother Miriam would have seen me. Well, Mother Miriam is dead, so we don't know about that. What about when Gideon and Mother Miriam were praying? I was still working at that time. Do I have proof that he wasn't? If I do, I should contradict him with it first before accusing him. Well, I don't really have any proof of that. Not during this section, because Gideon was over adjusting the corner and then went straight to the controls, or the keyboard, so to speak. Okay, during the ceremony, no one was inside the chamber other than Mother Miriam. If you're accusing me of sabotage, then when could I have done any of this? Okay, so means. For this, I need to present physical evidence. Gideon was the only one that operated the device. How could I have affected the chamber or Mother Miriam? So we can go in here and we can look at what exactly did you want to look at? Control panel, most likely not. I mean, you could just press the button. You just open the exactly. You could just use the door controls. Gideon was the only one that operated the device. How could I have affected the chamber or Mother Miriam? Again, you could just walk in. Same as before, the suspect will accept my evidence if it is valid, and deny it if they can explain why I'm wrong. I have nothing to do with this. Gideon handled everything for the ceremony. Okay. Gideon was the one that operated the device, etc., etc. Okay, return. Then we have motive. I need to present psychological evidence from their own sanctum. So we only have this one. And faithful servant of himself, or so he thinks. He knows that cybernetics are a critical part of the one truth. If he is the culprit and presented with the correct motive, the demon within him will compel him to speak the truth. If not, he will deny my claim. And Mother Miriam was our patron. Why would I want to harm her? Your faith is what drove you to kill Mother Miriam. Why would you think so? If anything, my faith is the proof that I would not have hurt a priestess. Mother Miriam was our patron, etc., etc. So, this accusation was unsuccessful, which means I must investigate further. Let's cancel for now and leave the suspect. And apparently, as it said, I can do this over and over, so to speak. But I do have a lot of holes in this story as of yet. Now, what did this say? Have I... Did I do something about this? What can I ask about this? So the door was closed until this point. Why did you not close it after Mother Miriam entered? Because I knew Gideon was bringing the coordinates soon. And that is... I can contradict that. I can contradict that with the prayer. Right? Because he never closed the door. Gideon thought he heard something during his prayer. That doesn't mean anything he could have imagined. Okay, so not there then. No, pause. I still want to ask about this. Yeah, but okay, so here then.
Gideon was going to handle everything.
No, sorry. Go back. Ask about this. Yes. I want to contradict this, and then with this then. I don't follow your logic. Okay, so yeah, I guess that is because this was this is unverified.
Was going to handle everything. I went back to my tasks.
Okay. Well, the thing is, if we go to Gideon,
Meanwhile, I adjusted the coordinates.
so you adjusted the coordinate,
and then placed it on Mother Miriam's head.
Oh, actually, no, you're right. He closed it. Never mind. Okay. So we know that this is... We know that this is corroborated. Gideon claims that the ether output values are within the same ranges, but the control panel indicates otherwise, does it? Let's present the control panel. How did I know that? Okay. Well, apparently I know that. Okay, so that's a lie on Gideon's part. You lied, Gideon. The ceremony wasn't safe. How did I know that? How on earth did I know that? The control panel records show that the ether output values were abnormally... Oh, because I know that. Oh, crap. Okay, so I'm not a good investigator. Of course it was. Mother Miriam wanted the coronet as powerful as it could be. But I get in the ground with my talents. I had it under control. I made no errors. Something else went wrong. I just don't know what. Okay. Gideon has amended his testimony. Let's examine maintain control. This statement of Gideon's testimony is now verified for two reasons. One, he is assured the time period, and physicality. The Gideon's testimony now is consistent with the records from the control panel. I can assume that any verified statement like this is true. So we now know that... so why is this now not corroborated? Can we ask you about this? Did you hear or notice anything at this time? Come to think of it, I thought I heard something behind me. I don't remember exactly. My mind was focused on the ceremony. That doesn't really give us anything.
Then I rose up, opened my eyes, and approached
well, okay, so we can clearly see someone moving here, right? Then he started, and then he comes from there. So what you say, if we go to Ruben here, we should be able to contradict here, right? By saying, Gideon thought he heard something during his prayer, doesn't mean anything, he could have imagined it, but he saw someone. Okay, ask again. Okay. I would like for you contradict here then. Apologies, I don't follow your logic. Well, okay. So because because we know that this isn't true. Because if we go to Gideon during the same period of time, he comes from the left. So we know that that is true. But how would I do this then? What do we have? Place the coronet, the performer. Praise silence, begin the song to modulate the ether, intensify ether output by bringing the performance to a crescendo. I don't think that we can do much about that, right? So the blueprints, purpose of the device seems to be amplified, uses ether output, the components are... But okay, so we have, you know, a pretty damn big one, which is obviously the coronet limiter. Found in Gideon's workspace in precise condition. Components required to safely install the coronet. So let's ask Gideon about that. Recognize this component, Gideon. It was found at your workstation. The coronet limiter. Impossible. But the explosion, how can it be undamaged? Someone must have removed it from the coronet prior to the ceremony. All but ensuring that the ceremony would end in a bloody mess. I had nothing to do with this. Why would I sabotage my own work? Why indeed? So did I get anything from that? By the way, can we... Yeah, we can check your inner sanctum as well. So what do we find about you? You are a narcissist. Well, I, you know, slightly figured that out. Sure. So we've done that. You are a narcissist. Again, nothing really spectacular there. So how do we get you to corroborate this then? Parts of the amplifier component and bits of the casing have survived. That was a spear. Plans for restoring a relic that was recently brought to Sainteville Progress by Father Augustine. What can you say about that one? Let's ask him about this. This was what I was working on during the ceremony. Father Augustine, a visiting scholar, asked me to help restore this relic. Okay, so we have Augustine here, a visiting scholar who studies demons and the ether. Let's ask him about that. Father Augustine is a scholar of demons and etheric technologies. He's made truly remarkable discoveries in his theoretical works. Sure. Can we ask about yourself? We can. My name is Ruben. I'm responsible for the engineering and design of implants. I'm the one who keeps things together here, or I try to anyway. I hope this was just an accident. So what do you think about Gideon? Gideon is my delusional younger brother who seems to believe fame equates to talent. I'm ashamed by his recklessness today and furious that Mother Miriam would pay the price for it. Can we ask about this? Oh, we can. Gideon is a vapid idiot who only cares about glory. Now his arrogance has gotten someone killed. Right. Let's flip it around then. Can we ask you about this? I'm Gideon the Grand, the greatest cybernetician of our generation. Pride is a sin, Gideon. I merely speak the truth, sister. The one true God has gifted me with extraordinary vision and skill. If anything, it would be sinful for me to hide my talents with false modesty. I mean, sure, I can sort of see what you're saying here. Ruben is my dollard brother. He's practically my assistant. Okay, what do you think of Augustine? My brother idolizes that man. I don't understand it. Theories and history is pointless. Okay, what can you just tell me about his believer thing here? Ruben has always been a devout, serious, and boring. We can't all be grand, I suppose. And what about your narcissism? I'm indeed talented and proud of it. Ainsof granted me with my gifts, and I gladly used them for his glory. Right. But I mean... Okay. What can you ask him about this? My masterwork is perfectly fitted to Mother Miriam's brow. Even in pieces you can see the sublime beauty of my artistry. But this can't be all you found. Where is the limiter? I've found it. Limiter was a safety device. I've already talked to you about this. This limiter was supposed to protect the coronet from over-search. Additionally, it was the crown jewel of the coronet. I suppose it shattered damnation. Oh no, we've already presented you with it. So, let's ask about the control here. You now admitted that the ceremony was risky. What makes you confident that you maintain control? Because I am a maestro. I remember every bit of my performance. Nothing that I did could have overcome the coronet limiter. But the coronet limiter wasn't on there. So, is it contradict? Probably. Coronet limiter. Percent. Yeah, okay, so that doesn't work. I'm slightly confused exactly as to what I'm supposed to do here. Yeah, I would not be a good a good person for this. What do we do? There's the corners remains. Door. Can we ask about the door controls? The door access records show that the chamber was sealed during the ceremony. There you have it, proof that the ceremony was performed flawlessly. Perhaps what's curious is that the door was opened twice. The first time was when Ruben opened the chamber to let Mother Miriam in. The second time was just before the ceremony started, when you closed your eyes and prayed for guidance. Right, we can do that. With the one true God as my witness, I swear that is the truth. I kneeled and listened for his voice. It must have been Ruben who opened it for some reason. He was always skittish about the slightest possibility of malfunction. So, I mean, can Ruben say anything about that? Saint reason is the only way to open the Consecration Chamber's door. So we can... I mean, can I sort of contradict here with the button? Ah, see, we got one. Lies unmasked. You test my patience, Ruben. Has your memory slipped once more? The door records show that the Consecration Chamber was opened twice today. Given that Gideon was praying during this time, only you could have opened the chamber. It's true that I opened the chamber again, just before the ceremony started, but I had my reasons. Something about the chamber seemed unseemly. Okay. Given what happened to Mother Miriam, I feel vindicated in my fears. Than what you did in the chamber. Okay, so now we got... Ooh, here we go. So now we've fleshed this out a bit.
They decided to perform since Gideon was going to handle everything. I went back to my tasks.
Yeah, so now what? You go and check the chamber.
The Consecration Chamber to verify that the coronet was in working order.
Okay. I mean, that's okay.
Everything seemed fine, so I returned to my desk again.
Okay. And then you're chilling out here until the trying to stop the ceremony.
So I returned to my desk again.
Can I say anything about that? Well, we can check for his inner sanctum again. Now we can get to the second layer, which is envy. There we go. He's envious. So, which one did that? Yeah, okay, so Loped and the envious here, sure. Coming a bit clearer that it might be Ruben over here. But what can we do about... Can we sort of... What can you say about the limiter, by the way? You found on Gideon's desk. It's no wonder that the coordinate exploded. The imbecile must have forgotten to replace it after adjusting the coordinate's amplification. Despicable. Now, that we can contradict by saying that he absolutely didn't. And that didn't work. So why did that not work? Rather, okay, so fine. I didn't really contradict that one. I'm still contradicting here. So can we go? Can I do that here then? Can I contradict here with the limiter? No, apparently not. Which is weird because we found it here. So how did it end up here? That is a bit strange. Why can't I do that? Can I just go for a accusation here? So it means well, we know how you could have done it, the door controls. No, we know that you didn't. We know that you checked the chamber. Okay. So apparently, did that not work? Okay, so is it this then? Is it now that we use this? I can't use that one. Okay. But don't I... Or is it opportunity? Is it when... Is it like this? There we go. During the prayer, you claim to have opened the chamber to check the materials. This is when you sabotage the ceremony. There we go. So we now have an opportunity here. And the means is the coordinate limiter. Present that one. There was nothing faulty with the coordinate itself. Indeed, the craftsmanship was flawless, as was Gideon's performance of the ceremony. But you removed the limiter from the coordinate without Gideon's knowledge, which, coupled with the coordinate's high amplification, caused an oversearch. Gideon's arrogance may have endangered Mother Miriam. There we go. So the motive is quite easily here. It's envy. So present that one. Mother Miriam's death was merely a means to an end. Humiliation of Gideon. You envy your brother's success. You want his fame, his glory. I think that this checks out. So I can use that one.
Soft sees all, Reuben. You killed Mother Miriam to frame Gideon and take him down a peg. With Gideon gone, a daemon whispered that people would finally recognize you for your genius.
I am older than Gideon. My work is better than Gideon, and more important. But no one sees my work. No one understands my work.
Confess, Reuben. Tell us what the daemon made you do.
Ooh.
Gideon was Mother Miriam's favorite. She barely knew I existed. When Gideon suggested increasing the ether output of the coronet, I had an idea.
So that is indeed where we got the plan. Ooh, I kind of like a leg here. That's kind of cool.
I would sabotage the ceremony by removing the limiter. Mother Miriam had no idea what was about to happen to her.
That poor woman. Okay.
I went back to my workstation, waiting for Gideon to close his eyes.
Then we just skip time forward.
While Gideon and Mother Miriam were praying, I reopened the chamber and removed the limiter. When Gideon started the ceremony, I placed the limiter on his table. so that it would look as though his negligence led to Mother Miriam's death.
We sort of figured that out, yes.
When the oversearch began, I go to
Now we see him come from the correct place.
to stop the ceremony. Of course he didn't listen.
Indeed, because he is narcissistic.
And so Mother Miriam died. I killed her. I regret only that I've been discovered.
Oh, that is what most people do say, indeed. Right. So that is his final testimony. And, yes. Okay. What do we do now? Game. What do you want me to do?
The oversearch began with Gideon was Mother Miriam's
How do I leave?
Gideon was Mother when Gideon I would sabotage the
Oh,
ceremony.
we go here. Here we go. We got the final one. The final reveal. It was Lotan.
Corruption runs
Probably.
deep within Reuben's soul. Yet Reuben may still be saved. I must speak the daemon's true name. Then the daemon will be cast out. Ain Soph, guide me. What daemon has possessed Reuben?
I mean, since it's me who's gonna pick, am I Ain Soph here? So obviously, love that we already have him selected here. So
Out, Lotan! Leave this soul and return whence you came.
Magnificently done, Madam Exorcist.
indeed,
The power of Ain Soph compels you, Lotan. Leave this soul and return to the ether.
Thousands of years, and you humans never change. Never satisfied, always comparing, wanting more. Someone else is always richer, prettier, wiser, better. Nothing can ever fill that void within you. Not even me.
Silence, Lotan. Reuben may yet be redeemed. You are a scourge. Without your influence, a good woman would still be alive. Leave humans be, Lotan. I banish you to the ether.
As you wish, but I'll return soon enough.
he's very polite, I have to say. Very, very polite demon.
My prince and master Lucifer walks among you. Lucifer will open the gates of hell, and at last, humanity will remember its full potential. Until then, Madam Exorcist, adieu.
Adieu, indeed. There we go. Exposed Lotan, or something.
Come forth, Reuben. What remains of you?
Thank.
He's not feeling too hot.
He's silent and still. Poor soul. Rest, Reuben. Heal, if you can.
So what's the story here, by the way? If it is proven that you have been possessed by a demon, does that mean you're innocent? I mean, actually innocent?
Sister Ada, you've returned. Was there a demon at work after all?
I'm afraid so. The exorcism was a success. Reuben's soul has been purged. Unfortunately, the daemon was difficult to cleanse. Reuben is returned to pure innocence.
What does that mean?
What? The exorcism
Oh.
shattered his soul? Can you bring him back?
It's out of my hands. If Ain Soph wills it, maybe Reuben will heal.
Guards, please escort this shell to the cryostasis cellar. I pray for his swift recovery. Abbot Gregory.
Praise be to Ain Soph, Sister Ada. You have saved us all. On behalf of everyone at St. Walburga's, I express our utmost gratitude.
We are not yet safe. We must act quickly until we locate the source of the demonic influence. We don't understand yet why demons would act after 100 years. Holy Father, we must quarantine the abbey and the surrounding town immediately. Detain and interrogate anyone who seems suspicious.
We can try, Sister Ada, but it will be difficult, as we have visitors arriving hourly. Much like yourself, pilgrims from afar are here to celebrate Walpurgisnacht. It's such a shame Mother Miriam couldn't bear witness to it.
Ah, yes, the priestess. We must destroy her body immediately. Traces of demonic influence may remain from her contact with Reuben.
No, Sister Ada, thank you for your concern, but we absolutely cannot.
Have you no concern for the safety of everyone?
Mother Miriam was a prominent figure and well loved, with decades of service. We must treat her body with dignity and give her a proper burial. Send Mother Miriam's body to the mortuary for embalming.
Your Excellency, we really ought to take the advice of the exorcist.
Mother Miriam's body has been desecrated enough, Virgil. Send her to the mortuary, now.
As you command, Your Excellency.
Holy Father, you are making a grave mistake.
Sister Ada, don't worry yourself. All will be well. Saint Walpurga's triumph over Lucifer has brought us a century of peace and bliss. It's horrifying that a demon was exorcised from our abbey, but surely it was the final remnant.
The daemon within Reuben spoke of Lucifer's return. Lucifer's ways are insidious. Even the most devout among us have temptations.
It's a shame Brother Reuben fell to the demon, but the rest of my flock is stronger. Faith shall be their shield. Now, please excuse me. This evening's mass requires my attention. We are honored by your presence, Sister Ada. Praise be to Ein Sof.
Even the Holy Father can be foolish, then.
Indeed he can.
Let it not be true that Lucifer walks. But if it is, Ein Sof, guide me, that I may unmask all lies, no matter how painful.
Indeed. And that sort of loads up the next chapter, I would assume. The demon's final words haunted me. Lucifer was already among us. I want to destroy Mother Miriam's body to purge any traces of demonic influence. Abbot Gregory did not heed my words. Mother Miriam was to be giving a proper burial. That afternoon, Inquisitor Virgil sent for me, asking urgently to meet him at the graveyard. And St. Walpurga's Abbey graveyard.
Praise Ein Sof. Thank you for coming to our aid so quickly, Sister Ada.
And can we guess it? Someone probably died. And the demonic presence is again something I need to check out. But we are not going to be seeing much more of that. I don't know exactly how many of these little missions, or what you want to call it, murder mysteries, there are going to be. But this is interesting. And yeah, it is absolutely true that I would be a terrible investigator. Probably. I might be perceptive sometimes, but it's a bit tricky to know exactly what to do in games like this, which is, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it's a cool game. It's a really cool game, and I do enjoy a game that is, I mean, it feels good. I don't know if it is. It feels good. It feels like a proper investigative game. But I guess, you know, you can always want for more, I guess. But it does feel good. And that's not that common when it comes to games like this. So I'm probably going to keep playing and see a little bit more about what this game has to offer. And yeah, if you kind of like these sort of games where you have to be a little bit clever, a little bit inquisitive, then I think that this could absolutely be for you. So be sure to check this out if that is the case. And yeah, not much more to say than that. So for now, this has been GhostMut Gaming with me, Christopher. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.